love the Eagles as much as we do, then hit that subscribe button and stick with us at Eagles Nest News for all the drama, updates, and hype all season long. Let's talk about one of the most underrated, underappreciated, and until recently, overlooked stars in the NFL, Jordan Mailata, for 5 seasons. The Philadelphia Eagles' massive left tackle quietly went about his business, dominating defenders, keeping Zach Ertz upright, and blasting open running lanes like a wrecking ball on wheels. And yet, through all those years, despite his size, skill, and sheer dominance on the field, he somehow flew under the radar. No Pro Bowl selections, no first-team All-Pro, barely a whisper in the national conversation. That is, until now. Because finally, Jordan Mailata is getting his flowers. For the first time in his NFL career, Mailata has cracked the top 100 players list, a prestigious ranking voted on by the players themselves. Not by coaches, not by fans, but by the guys who line up and go to war every Sunday. And where did he land? Number 69, a nod not only to his jersey number, but a symbolic rise to recognition that has been a long time coming. Mailata's journey to this moment is one of the most unique in NFL history. This isn't a guy who came up through the NCAA ranks or was groomed in a college football powerhouse. No, this is a guy who played rugby in Australia. Yes, rugby, before being discovered as an athletic phenomenon and taken as a project by the Eagles. In the 7th round of the 2018 draft, 7th round, that's where teams usually take flyers, long shots, Hail Marys, and yet here we are, 7 seasons later. And that long shot is one of the most dominant left tackles in football. Mailata didn't even touch the field for the first 2 seasons. That's how raw he was, but when he finally got his shot in 2020, he didn't just step into the role, he seized it, and he's never let it go. Since becoming a starter, he's appeared in 69 of 74 games. And last season, even after missing 5 games, he was still named a second-team All-Pro. Not bad for a guy who didn't know what a blitz was a few years ago. But his inclusion in the top 100 isn't just about popularity or narrative. It's backed by pure performance. In 2024, Mailata allowed only 1.5 sacks, tied for the fewest among all left tackles who had at least 350 pass blocking snaps. Think about that for a second. Over hundreds of passing plays. With elite edge rushers flying at him at full speed, he gave up less than 2 sacks. That's elite-level protection. And it's a big reason why Zach Ertz stayed healthy and effective throughout the Eagles' Super Bowl winning campaign. Yes, you heard that right. Super Bowl. The Eagles lifted their 2nd Lombardi trophy in franchise history last season, and Jordan Mailata was a huge part of it. Whether it was clearing lanes for Saquon Barkley or holding down the blind side against some of the nastiest pass rushers in the league, Mailata delivered, game in and game out. And he did it with a kind of quiet confidence that Eagles fans have come to adore. But let's not kid ourselves. Philly fans have been on the Mailata bandwagon for a while now. They love the guy not just for what he does on the field, but for who he is off it. He's got a magnetic personality, a humble demeanor, and an unexpected talent for singing that has made him a fan favorite. In locker room karaoke sessions and national TV appearances alike, it's that combination of brute strength and soft-hearted charm that makes him so unique. You don't often find a 6'8", 380-pound destroyer of defensive ends who can also hit falsettos like a pro. And while national recognition is just now catching up, some metrics have been ahead of the curve. Pro Football Focus, for instance, ranked Mailata as the number 1 tackle in the entire NFL. Not just left tackles, not just in the NFC, the number 1 tackle, period. That's the kind of respect he's starting to command, and not just from analysts, but from fellow players as well, heading into the 2025 season. Mailata even sits 5th in the betting odds for the brand new Protector of the Year award, a title created to finally give offensive linemen the love and credit they've deserved for decades. It's a new era, one where the men in the trenches are being celebrated for their importance to team success. And Mailata is right at the forefront of that shift. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or maybe the eagle. Despite everything, Jordan Mailata has never been selected to a Pro Bowl, not once. Not in a single season. It's almost absurd when you say it out loud. We're talking about a player that's been grading out as one of the best tackles in the game for multiple years, helping to anchor one of the most dominant defensive lines in football. And still, no Pro Bowl nod. Not even as an alternate. How does that happen? Part of it is the position. Left tackles don't generate highlights the way wide receivers or quarterbacks do. And unless you're pancaking defenders on primetime or getting into viral scuffles, it's easy to go unnoticed by casual fans and voters alike. But that shouldn't excuse it. The league is starting to wake up, and you can feel it. Mailata stock is rising fast. And if you need more proof, look no further than what ESPN just dropped in a ranking that evaluated every team's lineup. The Eagles came out as the second best roster in the entire NFL. And what did the analysts say was their biggest strength? Offensive tackle, specifically the duo of Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson. Together, they're considered arguably the best tackle pairing in football. Mailata has dominated on the left. Johnson, a seasoned veteran and former Pro Bowler, continues to lock down the right side despite being 35 years old. But here's the twist. While Johnson has the resume, the accolades, the All-Pro selections, and the Pro Bowls, Mailata is now making the case that he might actually be the better player at this stage. Think about that. We're not just talking about a feel-good story anymore. We're talking about a player who has emerged from a rugby background, fought his way into a starting job, and is now going toe-to-toe, or better, with some of the most decorated linemen in the league. Pro Football Focus says he's number 1. ESPN says the Eagles' tackles are the team's strongest unit, and the NFL players themselves just voted him into the top 100. And let's not forget, Mailata received votes last year for Offensive Player of the Year, not just Lineman of the Year. Offensive Player of the Year, that's usually an award reserved for the quarterbacks, running backs, or receivers who light up the scoreboard. But Mailata's impact was so undeniable, so massive, that he earned votes alongside the flashiest stars in the game. And the man who actually won that award, his own teammate, Saquon Barkley, the same guy who ran wild behind the offensive line, that Mailata helped anchor. It all comes full circle. Over the last 5 years, Mailata and Johnson have been holding down the bookends of one of the most physical, most feared, most productive offensive lines in football. The Eagles have consistently ranked in the top 5 for rushing yards, and Zach Ertz has had the protection to grow into a franchise quarterback, all thanks, in large part, to those two towers on the edge. But while Lane Johnson might be on a Hall of Fame trajectory, Mailata is just now stepping into his prime, and for the first time, the world is watching. This isn't just about recognition, it's about legacy. If Mailata continues on this path, stacking All-Pro nods, cracking the top 100, possibly winning Protector of the Year, then we're looking at a player who could redefine what's possible for international talent in the NFL. A player who didn't grow up dreaming of the Super Bowl, but earned his ring anyway. A player who didn't come from Alabama or Ohio State, but made his own way from the rugby fields of Australia to the highest level of American football. If Jordan Mailata's rise to stardom has been slow, then his future ascent might just be unstoppable, because now that the spotlight is finally on him, the football world is beginning to see what Eagles fans have known for years. That Mailata is not just a feel-good story or a development project gone right. He's an absolute force, a game changer, the kind of player who tilts the field with every snap. And it's about time he gets treated like it. What's crazy is that even now, as he enters his prime, there's still a sense that we haven't seen his ceiling yet. That's the scary part. He's still refining his technique, still improving his footwork, still learning the finer points of hand placement and leverage. He hasn't played the sport his whole life like many of his peers. He didn't grow up breaking down pass sets or studying film. So when you consider how dominant he already is, and then realize he's still evolving as a technician, you start to understand just how special he is. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy, share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a move that's sending shockwaves through the NFL rumor mill, whispers are growing louder that the Philadelphia Eagles might be on the verge of reuniting with one of their most beloved former players, tight end Zach Ertz, though nothing has been confirmed officially. Insiders and fans alike are buzzing with speculation that Ertz could be donning midnight green once again after being traded to the Arizona Cardinals in 2021. Ertz had productive moments in the desert before being released late in the 2023 season. Many believed his best days were behind him, especially after battling through injuries and reduced playing time. But with training camps looming and the Eagles looking to fortify their offense, the timing of this potential return seems more than coincidental. Sources close to the situation suggest that the Eagles' front office has been quietly evaluating veteran options to support Dallas Goedert and mentor young tight ends on the roster. Ertz, a Super Bowl 50 champion and three-time Pro Bowler, would bring leadership, chemistry, and a deep understanding of the team's culture. His familiarity with quarterback Jalen Hurts and the coaching staff could make him an ideal fit-in a secondary role, not as the star he once was, but as a savvy veteran presence. Philadelphia fans, never shy about voicing their opinions, have taken to social media to express cautious excitement. Some see this possible move as a sentimental gesture, while others argue that Ertz still has enough left in the tank to contribute meaningfully in red zone packages and third down situations. Is this just a nostalgic spark, or are the Eagles truly gearing up for a reunion that could add depth and character to their offense? Time will tell, but for now, the streets of Philly are buzzing. Zach Ertz back in green. It might not just be a fantasy. Stay tuned. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.